Tits sitting pretty, girl?
The tits. These big juggalinas.
Not the juggalinas.
The juggalinas, baby.
Ah, that's fantastic. God damn it. My mic's being finicky today. All right, let's run it.
Yay.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Humanhood series brought to you by yours truly, Melanie Peralta, and
Casey Riley.
The conversation. I was like, I almost forgot our fucking tagline. The conversation that is always dedicated to humanizing your human experience and making personal development more personal. Today's conversation, Casey and I really wanted to just dive into our personal process with the Humanhood Project and share some updates with you, but really have a conversation around the organic process of project expansion. Because if you've been listening for a while, you know that Casey and I never really intended to get this far. We knew it was a possibility. But it wasn't a part of the plan. It was just a possibility that we were entertaining. And now that we're here, we're like almost 30 episodes deep as far as what's out now. It'll probably be more than that by the time this episode drops. But we've made it past 30 episodes.
That's wild.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And with that, Casey and I are now having conversations of what's next? What else do we want to do? How do we want to grow this? How do we want to evolve this? And that's a conversation that a lot of creatives have when they have a play project, a passion project that begins to turn into a real brand, a real business, a real concept that you fully want to pour yourself into and see how far you can take it. Yeah.
Well, what's really is interesting about this is I've been very social lately, guys. Yes. Very social, but with a lot of Brian's events that he's been putting on.
Hold on, shout out to Brian.
Yes,
KRLG, baby. Kurtz Riley Law Group. If you don't know, now you know. They're the best in the business, all right? If you get into some trouble, you hit up these attorneys. They'll get you right, okay? And the swag is off the chain because I literally wear it all the time. People are like, what's KRLG? I'm like, Kurtz Riley Law Group.
Look them up, baby.
They're like, what? I'm like, it's my husband's company.
Your husband's company?
I mean, my friend's husband's company, top tier.
You're manifesting over there.
My husband's company, my friend's husband's company. They're the shit. Their merch is fire. Get connected.
Anyways, I've been at a lot of his events recently. And this is a totally different community.
Right.
You know, we are very involved in the personal development space, the spiritual community. There's a lot of people like us. When I go to his events, it is a very different community. It is doctors, it is attorneys, it is quote unquote professionals just in different industries like brick and mortar type businesses.
Right.
And the amount of people who say that they are tuning in and listening and enjoying the podcast, I was just shocked at the amount of people who actually find what we're talking about interesting and people outside of who we might think would enjoy it.
Right.
And they're so curious about what is the process? How does that look like? How does this feel? How do you keep coming up with ideas? People are so interested in this and they're asking, what's next? What do you foresee in the future? And it's really fun having those conversations with people and just noticing how far the reach is getting in these different communities, because the whole intention behind Humanhood is to connect on a human experience. Right? These are concepts and things that we are all going through. It doesn't matter if you're an attorney or a coach or a stay-at-home mom, whatever it is. And so knowing that people are really resonating with the conversations is just makes me so happy.
Yeah.
And it lets me know this is serious.
Yeah.
It's serious. Is serious.
Yeah.
And so I've just really enjoyed hearing that feedback. So if you are any of those people who I have talked to over the past few weeks, I really enjoyed our conversation, and thank you so much for all the thoughtful feedback and just anyone out there who's been giving us feedback.
Yeah, it's been such a beautiful, organic unfolding as we keep getting that feedback from a bunch of different people. And Casey and I actually, when we hit 25 episodes and reached our 100 YouTube subscriber goal, we went and had a matcha date to celebrate at Case Study in
Shout out
Phoenix.
Case Study.
Shout out to Case Study. And we just kind of dropped in and reflected on the process and connected about the question, what do we want to do from here and things like that. But another question that was asked was just revisiting our message.
Yes.
And that's actually something that always has to happen with a vision. You always have to circle back to the why. You always have to circle back to like, what's the real vision here? What's the real purpose? How do we want to make people feel? And in that conversation, I remember saying something along the lines of like, I see us as just like the wise besties, you know, because not everybody has a Melanie or a Casey, and I will toot our horns, okay? Toot. We are high quality women, and we have invested so much into ourselves to be somebody with a genuinely valuable perspective. Not that it's always right, but it's really a conscious, elevated, wise perspective, and not everybody has access to being able to have conversations with somebody who has invested so much into their mind, into their personal development, into their evolution, to have that much value to bring. Like, shout out to my sister. She's so fortunate that she can call me whenever she wants, and I'm gonna be dropping wisdom bombs all day, okay? But outside of that, not everybody has that.
Yeah.
And so me and Casey are happy to be the people who, obviously, like I said, we know we're not always right and all of our perspectives vary, but we're happy to be, one, the people who genuinely give a fuck, who really care, and who have a lot of experience in the personal development, wellness, and healing realm, that we can come on here and think about the human experience and who you are and where you are and what you might be going through, especially in today's world, and give you an elevated perspective, an honest perspective, a raw perspective on those different things.
That's bringing me back to these last few events that I've been at. And it's like the people who want to have those conversations were gravitating towards me to have these conversations.
Right.
I love that episode about blank. And it's like, guys, partying, noise, drinking everywhere, and we're like zoned in on this conversation.
Yeah.
And so you're absolutely right. It's those people who might not always have access to the person, like, I'm thinking about this stuff, but my husband's not into this, or my current friend group's not into this, but
Or nobody wants to talk about it.
no one wants to talk about it, or am I like weird for feeling this way? But we are those people having the conversations. And when people are seeking out the conversation in person, I'm like, okay, we're on to something here, because there are people out there who are needing these types of conversations and connections.
Yeah.
And so when we revisited that, it really put things into perspective, because I remember I was like, who are we talking to? Because like Melanie brings such a different version to this conversation and this dynamic that I do. And for a minute I was like, is it too different?
Yeah.
Is it too different? Like the things that I love talking about, you don't love talking about all the time, and vice versa. But when we pulled out and looked at the bigger picture, it was like, no, it's like two wise friends with two very different perspectives on these topics.
Yeah.
And so that has been just really amazing to see that and get the feedback from everyone.
Yeah. So thank you guys for everybody who's tuned in, for everybody who's shared it with a friend, for everybody who sent us a DM or a voice memo, just sharing your experience or a reflection. We are so grateful for you guys, truly. We wouldn't continue to do this if you guys weren't sharing with us the way that it's impacting you and your lives and just how much you're enjoying it. So we've really gotten this far because of y'all. So thank you so much. And with that, we're obviously going to keep going, and we've got more ideas brewing. Actually, tomorrow, Casey set up for us to go and do a Pilates class at Desert Movement, which we are going to be having the co-founder on one of the episodes. We're going to do an interview with her. So it's going to be more collaborations.
Yeah.
We want to start partnering with people locally. And I mean, even people outside of Arizona would be incredible. But once it goes from play to passion to like a serious project and then expansion, then we get into like partnerships and more collaborations, and that's really where we're at right now, and I'm super stoked about that.
I know, my mind is already like going, I'm like, this person, this studio, these things, and it's just such the natural evolution of it all, because something that I love to do is just highlight other people.
Right.
Highlight other people who are really fucking going for it.
Yeah.
And like even Sarah, the co-founder of Desert Movement, she's someone who I always like talk so highly about her whenever I'm like, you got to check out the studio and this is the story. And we'll let her share the story. But I'm like, you deserve to like be heard and have your story and inspire other people, because what you've done and the chance that you took on yourself is so remarkable. And there's so many people like that out in the world who own and operate businesses or own and operate different communities. And I know you know a lot of people in different unique artist communities as well. And it's like, these people deserve to be highlighted. And that just brings me so much joy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. All I gotta say is have reasonable expectations of Casey and I, because we do operate at a high level. But you might be surprised as we go with some of the people that we bring on, because Casey and I are always finding different reasons as to why we feel like what somebody is doing is important and why it needs to be highlighted. And sometimes, like she said, she might feel more convicted in why this is the thing, and because we're partners, I'm like, you know what, I support you in that, I'm down with that, let's do it, and vice versa. So you guys are gonna get such a wide variety. This is Humanhood for a reason. That title in itself keeps us, like Steph said, out of the box.
Yes.
And I love that. And I love that.
Yes. And what I've loved about this creation and being out of the box, because that was another one of our conversations as well. It's like, what are we feeling we can bring to this? And both of us were feeling like variety.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, what does variety look like? And Humanhood Confessions and like doing things different that allows us to get to know our guests in a different way, people to get to know us. How can we show different aspects of the conversations in different ways so that it lands with this type of person and we can touch multiple people? And I was thinking about this earlier today, like the joy of having your own project is that the answer is always yes.
Yeah, I love that. There's so much freedom.
There's so much freedom. There's no
Yeah.
one telling you like, good idea, but next year.
Yeah.
Or, okay, shelf that thought, or we can't do that. It's like, no, the answer is always yes. We just got to figure out how to do it.
Right.
And so for me, that is so much fun, because even a podcast has so much potential and so much opportunity. It's like, we can do it all.
We can.
And we will do it all.
will. Speaking that into existence, and so it is, baby.
Yes. Yeah. So this has been a really just amazing process. Something was coming to me. I lost it. Let's see if it'll come back.
We're talking about Desert Movement and that we're going to be...
Oh, the people, the guests. Okay, that's also something I want to talk about, because a lot of people have been like, how are you choosing your guests?
Right.
And between us, like, we know a lot.
Yeah.
Of
We
people.
know so many phenomenal human beings.
So many
Like,
amazing
so
people.
many. Yeah.
And for me, and I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on it too, but for me, what I look for in a guest is like when you look at someone and say, I want to talk to that person about that thing.
Yeah.
And most times it has nothing to do with what they're presenting as.
Right.
Like it has nothing to do with their business, nothing to do with whatever, but it's like, I know you've gone through the trenches, or I know you've something, and I want to talk to you about that little piece.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise we could have everyone on all day.
Totally.
Every day.
All of our friends, they're all wise in their own ways.
Yeah, and it's like not just highlighting the person and the business or the person and the practitioner. It's like the person and their message.
Right.
The person and their purpose that really like shines through.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, shameless plug, Soul Signature Society. That's actually the thing that I notice within people. So what I call their soul signature, for me, that's like this unique energetic imprint that people carry. And I notice it in human beings, whether that is the paradigm that they operate from, the state of being that they operate from. There's like something about you that is psychologically, energetically fascinating to me, that you are such a dope, unique, or just precious, and just somebody that your essence needs to be shared.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then there's also other people that's like, I really love what you're doing, and I love how you're doing it. And then I'm drawn to that as well. So yeah, that's the thing for me. It's like, there's a lot of people out here who are knowledgeable. There's a lot of experts out here. But like, something about your soul makes me gravitate towards you and what you have to say and why it's even important to you. And then also why it's important to the people who are listening.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is something that we always like keep in our back pocket. It's like when that thing pops up and we like have to have the conversation.
Yeah.
You know?
Because another thing too is, I mean, let's just be honest, dude. Our industry gets really redundant. It does. And that's natural, you know? Like, the same types of conversations are going to continue to be had, especially if they're constant human conditions. And I think where that is fine is just because they're different conversations from different people. So there's a variety of perspectives, variety of energies and things like that. But I want to have different conversations, not just the typical personal development conversations that we always have.
Yeah.
Like shadow work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's important. We could do a whole episode on shadow work, but I'm kind of over it a little bit. You know, there's more nuances that we get to talk about as human beings that aren't the conversations that are happening all over the place. And like, those are the things that I like to dive into.
Yeah. With the balance of, because I do love hearing people's expertise also. I'm
Yeah,
always
of
like, let's
course.
give space for that also, because
Yeah.
I am the person who's like, I do want to learn from you. And I want to hear a story you've never shared before.
Right.
And I want to know your opinion on this.
Yeah. But I just mean like the overarching thing. So like, for example, you know, recently we had a conversation of not mentioning a plant medicine as much.
Yeah.
And I'm like you just said, I do want to hear that story, but then it's also valid that there's so many stories out there about everyone's plant medicine experience and stuff. So
Yeah.
there's kind of like a balance. But with this project, Casey and I are really using discernment
Yes.
and trusting ourselves throughout the process. So that's key in any project that you're doing, is really trusting yourself of like, I do believe in this. I do feel convicted in this, and I'm going to run with it. And if for some reason it ends up not being what I thought it was going to be, that's fine.
Yeah.
We can pivot. We can shift. Like, it's all is well.
Yeah.
It's not a failure.
No,
It's like,
that's a podcast episode.
matter of fact, if we wanted to, we could scratch this episode right now. Never put it out. Yeah.
One thing I want to kind of transition to a little bit is for anyone out there who has worked on a project, maybe a passion project, but it's somehow turned into a business or into something a little bit more serious. Like, just the natural evolution of that, because I'm telling you, I've worked on so many things where I've just started it, and then all of a sudden I'm like, there's money coming in. I'm like hiring people for things. Like, I'm responsible for all these people or in all these parts of the project. And like, and I'm focused on the numbers now versus like why I started this in the first place.
Yeah.
And I think that's a natural evolution of anyone who is starting any type of business.
Totally.
But when it comes to even this as an example, it's like, okay, well, obviously, eventually we want this to be something that can be financially supportive in the future, or at least pay for itself. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like a natural part of that process. So talk to me a little bit about like your thoughts on that. Like, When do you feel like, has that ever hit you when you're in the middle of something and you're like, this is no longer like a joke?
Oh, yeah, girl. That's how me being in the personal development industry started. I never planned on being in the personal development industry. I never planned on being a coach. If you would have told me 10 years ago that I'd be doing what I'm doing now, I would have literally not believed you.
Yeah.
And when I threw my first event, I never thought, I didn't do it to make money. I didn't do it to start a business. I didn't even do it to build a community. I was just like, I want to teach women what I know. They need to know this. Boom. That's it. Next year, we're like, first year, 32 women. Next year, triple our guest count. I was like, oh, okay, this is something. Back then, it was a little bit different because I was really a new booty and I had no experience at all. So I wasn't even prepared for the possibility of success and growth and expansion. And now, in hindsight, if I could tell myself back then, I would have liked to have been more internally, mentally prepared for the possibility of success. I wasn't even entertaining that back then. And I don't know, maybe that was good because it kept my heart in the right place and it kept, my intentions really, really clean and pure. But the thing that I love about our process is that we really did both. We held the energy of no expectation, let it flow, let it flop. Let it flow, let it flop if it wants to. And the idea of what if this actually turns into something for real.
Yeah.
And I think that it is important to hold space in your mind for both and let it, let the chips lie where they may and fall where they may. Because in the past I didn't exercise the possibility of success. And I think that's why I struggled so much, because I wasn't even psychologically prepared for that at all. And I was naive back then. And I could have impacted more people in a greater way, including myself financially, because me being financially struggling back then, the way that I was to keep this vision alive, it kind of took away sometimes from what I was able to give. So I would say when you're at the beginning, definitely make sure that you're holding space for it to flop or for it to flourish.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like the delusion is what gets people going, because I even think back to the things that I've launched. Like, I'll just launch something and like have no expectation, but I think subconsciously I always know. Like, there's the possibility here and I'm ready for that. But in the meantime, let's just like throw it out there and see what happened and have a lot of fun with it. And then somehow you end up like, now, I've been doing this for 3 years now. I've been doing this certain thing and like now it's grown into this. But I feel like I've always had that little nugget in the back of it will become something.
Yeah.
Which is like, I love that about myself. But I've also played a lot in the delusion of like, just going so hard so fast because it's so fun, and then it's like that's what got me to certain points of my life. And now looking back, I'm like, I don't know if I would still do it that way, but I feel like you need to be in the delusion.
Delusional optimism, it can really serve you.
Because if you're not like optimistic or delusional or any of that, you don't do anything. Because you're over analyzing, analysis paralysis, and you're just sitting there.
Yeah. Well, it's also, I know I talk about this a lot, but it's also an identity thing, because you just said, but there's a part of me that always knew. That's a subconscious identity, because you know how you operate.
Yeah.
You know what you're capable of. You know that you have a high level of excellence within you.
Yeah.
So you have that belief in yourself. Not everybody has that within their identity.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean? So it's like there's some people out there that are like, nah, that's not possible for me. Like, this is as far as it's going to go. Like, I'll be lucky if it even does this. Some people have that. It's a program. So it's like, it's definitely a self-reflection thing. And I don't remember who I learned this from. I want to say I learned this from Lindsay Schwartz, maybe like years ago, or maybe it was Lori Harder who taught it. I don't remember, but it's this concept and it's called unicorn brainstorming. Ever since I learned it, I always use it with like my clients when we're creating things. And it's just a simple prompt. And it says, wouldn't that be cool if? Yeah. If you're listening, and Lori, if it wasn't you, or Lindsay, if it wasn't you, please give credit to whoever it was for, because I'm not really sure. But this concept, it has stuck with me forever. So it's, wouldn't that be cool if? And whenever I'm in my Clear to Create coaching sessions with clients, this gives me a gauge of how big their mind allows them to think. So I would observe, you know, in the groups, especially if you do it in a group setting, everyone will go around and share what theirs was, because after, wouldn't that be cool if, you flow with your idea.
Yeah.
You flow with your concept. And some people are like, wouldn't that be cool if, you know, I could throw an event and we had like 10 people come and this was the outcome, and, you know, I made like $300 from it. And then this and this. And then there's this other person like, wouldn't that be cool if, this was me. I was like, wouldn't that be cool if we threw a conscious carnival and like all the food trucks were really healthy and we had all these kids doing XYZ, and, you know, those show the boundaries of the mind.
I love that.
Yeah, that really, really shows you. So if you're listening to this and you really want to get a feel for how open and big your mind is allowing you to think, do that exercise and see where your boundaries are, because you'll notice when you want to think big in a certain direction and then you're met with some resistance of like, wouldn't that be cool if, but the but coming, but you know, you feel that block there. And then a step further is when you notice where that block is, then you get to dig into it. Why is that there? Do I not feel like I'm capable? Am I afraid to fail? Am I, you know, do I not have the skills for this? And that's when you get to find the solutions to whatever the problem is, because I know for a fact, I would have not have done this without you. I wouldn't have. Oh, that made me want to get emotional. Oh, I would not have done this without you, Casey. Yeah, like, oh, you made me feel really safe with this vision, friend. You did. Like, I trust you. I count on you. I believe in you. I really do. And so when I was feeling convicted about this idea, I was like, I will not do that by myself, but I will 1,000 do it with Casey. And I will 1,000 like give my all to this with Casey, because I know she'll give her all to it with me. And so sometimes when you have an idea and there are those blockages coming, sometimes it might be that you need a partner. You know, sometimes it might be that you need to collaborate and that you're not meant to do it alone. And that might be the key. But look at us. For real, you know, like you were the key for me to like really dive into this, because for years I've wanted to do something like this, but something in my spirit was like, you're not meant to do it alone, man. You're not. And like, you were the one.
Oh, I love it.
I love you. Yeah, you were the one. And so figure out what your blockages are in your expansion process, or even in just like the catalyst process, the thing that's stopping you from even starting, and figure out what that is, you know, and then work around it, work through it. That way you can bring the thing to life. And again, be okay with whichever outlet, you know, I mean, whichever avenue it goes, because typically one idea will lead to the next. One idea will lead to the next. And then eventually you will find the thing that works. You will find the thing that lands. And then that's the thing that you get to pour into and continue growing.
So one thing I want to talk about like just partnerships and like choosing to go into business or going to projects with people. I feel that there's two types of people. The person who goes in very intentionally, right? And they know like they're meant to do this with someone for this reason. But then there's people out there who only go into projects with people because they don't believe in themselves. And I see that a lot.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Really?
So I see it a lot with my clients.
Okay.
So I'm like, why are you always partnering with a sound healer during your breathwork session? Why are you always partnering with like latching on to somebody else? And it's because they do not believe that what they have is enough for what they're hosting, and they have to add all these bells and whistles and
That makes
people
sense.
to add to the experience or to help bring people in or whatever it is. And so that is something I always really encourage people to ask themselves, like when you are seeking something by yourself or seeking something with someone, it's like, what is the real reason behind it? Is it because I feel convicted in this choice? Or is it because I am doubting myself and my ability to bring this to fruition on my own for whatever reason?
Yeah.
And so that is something that people can really get trapped in. And when I work with those people, I always encourage them. I'm like, the next event, it's all you.
Yeah.
See what you can do. And there's nothing wrong with partnering with aligned people and like feeling that with you. But just like if you're someone out there who's like, my pattern is to only partner with people, explore the solo way as well, because that has a lot of lessons for you.
Totally. And when you explore the solo and you really get anchored in that and you get strengthened in that,
Yes.
then it makes your collaborations so much more potent, because when you do collaborate, you're like, okay, I know what I bring to the table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's really where I was. I would only solo all of the time because I could never count on someone.
Honestly, I was the same way for a long time.
Yeah.
And we've had this conversation before.
Yes, I could never count on people. They all, I don't want to say always,
Yeah.
but they let me down in a lot of ways. They didn't have the same standards as me. And so I was like, why am I going to keep hurting myself in this process when I can just do this on my own? And so when seeking out those collaborations, it's like making sure that person is a match in every way possible.
Totally.
So that like you both feel equally fulfilled in the process.
Yeah.
Because that's always bad too. And having like regular check-ins.
Yeah. We've been really good about that.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been really, really good about regular check-ins and just kind of like personal check-ins, like just how are you feeling about this? And then what's next?
Yeah.
What's the vision for next?
Yes.
So should we tell them a little bit
let's
about
go
some of
into
the ideas and things that we want to do?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so first things first, we want to do merch. We want to do Humanhood merch.
We're gonna do.
We're gonna do Humanhood. It's in the works. It's happening. Definitely a hat, because how can we not do a hat? Like,
You're the hat queen.
I know, I'm the hat queen. Like, we have to do a hat for sure. And then Casey even wanted to bring in like a sweater.
Oh yeah, we're doing a sweater.
And then maybe like a t-shirt. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, do we have a timeline for when we want to?
I mean, winter's around the corner.
Winter's around the corner, so
we gotta get it.
Definitely, the jackets, the sweaters will be coming soon.
Yeah.
And then potentially hats and tees later. We'll see.
Yeah.
But y'all will be able to rock some Humanhood merch sooner than later.
And we have such good ideas.
Oh yeah, girl, we fresh. What
For
you mean?
like, I know. I'm like, I want it now. I want it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a whole process too. Like even right now, I'm wearing one of my shirts.
Yeah.
And this is a completely different like actual style of shirt that I've done in the past. And so it's like wearing it, washing it, making sure that it's actually quality and the designs are going to stick and it looks cute before asking people to spend their precious money on it.
Totally.
You know, because that's like my worst fear. Someone gets a product in their hand and it's shit. I'm like,
like, no.
Oh my gosh, this is a reflection of me.
Yeah. And I mean, truthfully, we want you to wear it all the time.
Yeah.
So we want to make it cozy. We want to make it fresh. We want you to love it.
Yes.
So
these will be your favorite items coming up.
yes. So that's a part of the plan. And then more collaborations.
Yeah.
So if you're local and you have a local business or something like that, or even if you're not local, but you plan on coming to Arizona and you're listening to the podcast and you want to connect, we're open. With that being said, we are open. It might not always be a yes. Just going to keep it a buck.
We're open and actually not.
We're open to conversations. We're open to offers and things like that.
Yeah.
But just, it's not going to be a yes for absolutely everything. And that's with anything, right?
Yeah.
So just want to set that expectation, but reach out to us anyways. Even if it's something that's not necessarily a podcast interview or whatever, maybe there's some other way that we can collaborate or that we can connect or whatever, but we're building a community here.
Yeah.
We're building a humanhood community. And with expansion has to be invitations.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So we are going to be partnering with certain businesses here locally. And then like potentially even like a live podcast
Oh
situation.
yeah, a live podcast is happening next year for
Yeah.
sure. You know what? Wouldn't that be cool if I'm like, well, and
Our
this-
year anniversary?
that's actually like in November.
No. From launching.
Okay.
Yeah, no, girl.
Not recording.
From launching.
Yeah.
Launching.
I
Can you
mean-
believe it's almost been a year since we started filming?
Well, we started filming in November last year and then launched
so proud of
January.
us.
I know, this is great. But yeah, wouldn't it be cool if I'm like, you walk in somewhere big, bright, tall ceilings,
Oh,
merch all over the place.
I already have a venue that I have saved.
Okay.
Side note.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Merch up and around, beautiful aesthetic, live conversation, questions, green juices, mocktails.
Yeah.
A little wellness mixer, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been feeling really inspired.
Me too.
To do those.
Yeah.
Like itching.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of the work that I do is people are laying down on their mats, you know, and like it is a transformational experience, but there's not a lot of back and forth.
Human connection.
Like
Yeah.
it's a connection on its own, in its own way. But I'm feeling inspired to like get to know the people on the mat,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like what is going on in your world?
Yeah.
You know? So that will be coming next year for sure. I definitely see that. And honestly, sponsorships, you know? So if anyone out there is like, I have a brand, I have a product, I have a service that your community would absolutely love, let's talk about that. You know, we are happy to try different products and services and feature them on the show.
Yeah.
Even like go out to your place of business and do some filming there. Like
Yeah.
really wanting to connect with other local entrepreneurs, business owners, again, highlighting your brand, what your purpose and your mission is in the world, while being able to highlight ours as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's like how much of a blessing can we be to other people, but then in return, you know, they can bless us
Totally.
as well.
We are open to receive.
Yes. Yes.
We are open to receive. So, with that, we would love to hear from you guys as we continue. Shoot us a DM. If you have any thoughts, if you have any ideas, if you have any topics
Yes.
that you want us to visit or revisit, let us know. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you guys. Any last words, Casey?
I have one funny thing to bring up.
What?
Did you see that comment on our YouTube where the guy was like, you guys have 72 followers. Like, this isn't going very well for you. Did you see that?
No.
Okay, so someone left a comment being like, not everyone shouldn't start a podcast. And then
Okay,
it was
okay.
like, you guys have 72 followers. Like, this isn't going very well. And then literally, like, within 2 weeks, we were like crossing 100. We're at 132 now. Like, it is growing rapidly over on
Boy!
YouTube. I'm like, that is going to be a screenshot that we have one day where it's like, you look back and it's like,
We
you-
doubled it, player.
you had no, we did double
We
it.
doubled
Good
it.
math. You have no, like, I screenshot that shit because I'm like, one day we're going to look back at this
Yeah.
and chuckle at it.
Yeah.
So,
But also, guess what? That's not why we're doing this.
No.
That's
No.
not why we're doing this. And that's what makes it good. That's why we really don't give a fuck.
Right.
We give a fuck, but we don't give a fuck.
right. We
You
do,
know?
but we don't.
We do, but we don't.
Honestly, like, get like excited knowing
Totally.
like when I look into that and seeing the growth, because that's a whole other thing of starting something new. That is so humbling, starting at zero.
Yes.
And I get why people pull the fucking plug on podcasts.
Yeah.
When you're like, I have 14 fucking views and I just did this?
yeah.
Like for 14 views? Like this
Yeah.
is crazy. And so I get why people pull the plug, but it's also fun. I find it fun.
Yeah.
Almost start me at zero. Why? You know the perfectionist. You know I love counting. I'm all, watch me climb, bitches. And so I actually love it. Like it is humbling starting something new or a new social platform or account, but it
Yeah.
makes every new connection so much more sweet.
Yes. Yes. The milestones are meaningful.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious. True. That's true. So yes, again, Thank you guys. We love you. Follow, subscribe, share with a friend, leave a comment, leave a review. Until next time.